Good evening. I'm Mark Ivy. Welcome to the latest edition of Kernels from the Cornfield. No huss, no halls, no shucks. News with a dash of commentary to spice up your fare for Tuesday, June 24th, 2014. Eyes wide shut? Was President Barack Obama and the U.S. intelligence community caught with their pants down on the sudden victory march of the Islamic State in Iraq and Syria, ISIS? Or did the White House close its eyes to what was happening because it worked against the president's legacy for bringing the troops home from Iraq? Read my op-ed on the subject that may open some of our eyes: intelligence failure or eyes shut. This is especially interesting since 90 to 130 advisors are now in Iraq to assess the Iraqi military. We also have 1,000 troops off the coast. Currently, U.S. is flying 30 missions per day over Iraq. Eyes shut or intelligence failure? You be the judge. Worser and worser. How low can the Veterans Administration sink? Even after CNN brought to light the failings with the VA in Phoenix, we now are learning that the cover-up got worse. Names were removed or appointment schedules were changed to hide how many veterans died while waiting on care. Appoint a special prosecutor and clean house. Start over if necessary. Veterans and their families have complained about VA care for decades. Why is it only now, with the CNN report, that Congress and the general public are paying attention? True or false? The United Nations is reporting that Syria no longer possesses chemical weapons. Can we really be sure of the validity of this claim? Time will tell. Words are cheap. That's what Secretary of State John Kerry said about the promises being made by officials in Iraq. Kerry should know. For the second time in as many days, Kerry is back in Iraq. This time he is in the autonomous Kurdish northern region with Kurdish President Masoud Barzani. But he doesn't seem to be hearing what the Kurds are saying. It's a new day in Iraq. It is a new Iraq. One which won't be united. Hard to have a meeting of minds when Kerry is holding to a Western mindset which runs a polar opposite to the Mideastern way of thinking, where loyalties lie not with a nation, but with tribes, religious sects, or ethnic identity. Ready for pasture? Will voters in Mississippi and New York decide that Senator Thad Cochran and Representative Charlie Rangel are too old to keep serving in Congress? For Cochran, black Democrats may be the key to his future in the state's open primary system. Later tonight, we will learn if voters decided to turn two of the longest-serving members out to pasture. Doth protest too much. Former President Bill Clinton and former First Lady Hillary Clinton are protesting too much about their wealth. The more the politically powerful duo try to explain their money situation and how in touch with ordinary Americans they are, the more distant they sound. Let the sound bites die. Let the news cycle move on. This is not a winner for Clinton's presidential ambitions. On a side note, looks like First Lady Michelle Obama is paving the way for Hillary to run. Today, she said that the sooner the nation elects a woman president, the better. Regional war. The situation in Iraq should more appropriately be seen as the civil war in Syria spilling over into Iraq. ISIS forces have now taken control of the border, not just with Syria, but also neighboring Jordan. Reporters are coming in late this evening that the war may be sloshing out and into the Hashemite kingdom. The conflict could see the entire region engulfed in flames. By the way, ISIS forces in Iraq have grown to 10,000 strong. Unbelievable. How can the IRS and the White House keep singing, "That's my story and I'm sticking to it"? The agency and the administration are looking as bad as the singer. Time to come clean. To be politically incorrect, time to man up. Schism in the church. After a United Methodist minister was defrocked for the sin of refusing to say if he would perform a same-gender wedding ceremony in the future after he officiated at a ceremony for his gay son and his partner, the denomination's appeals panel overturned that decision. The pastor may return to the pulpit. But supporters of same-gender equality even in the church. Don't get too excited. The question of whether the sect was moving toward acceptance of same-gender weddings was not at issue. The defrocking was overturned because the panel ruled that the minister was being punished for what he may do in the future, not for any sin or wrongdoing already committed. The debate of whether the new covenant allows for equality for same-gender couples remains debated. Some denominations, such as the United Church of Christ and the Presbyterian Church USA, have decided that grace covers all unions, opposite gender and same gender. 168. That's the number of children rescued by the FBI from sex traffickers last week. In an annual crackdown on such human trashmongers called Operation Cross Country, the FBI swooped in, rescuing the children from the unbelievable sex slavery market. Many of those children had never been reported missing, making the tragic state of inhumanity even more tragic. The children were rescued from life on the streets in 106 cities. This is the 8th such operation which has rescued 3,600 children. God bless the children. As Jesus said in his day, it is better that these subhumans who prey on the weakest among us had never been born. That's what caught my attention for Tuesday, June 24th, 2014. Tune in tomorrow for another episode of Kernels from the Cornfield. I am Mark Ivy. Good evening.